Hi everyone, and welcome to the first video in my service dog series. This video is an overview of what service dogs are, what they can do, and who they help. So first we're going to talk about what a service dog is. A service dog is a dog who is task trained to mitigate their disabled handler's disabilities. So let's break that down a little bit. Task trained means that they have been specifically trained to do something that in some way mitigates a symptom or more than one symptom of their person's disability. So they can be any breed, from Chihuahua to Great Dane, whatever. There are no breed restrictions on what a service dog can be. So they can be shepherds, they can be labs, they can be anything, really, and they cannot be discriminated against based on their breed. The other thing is their handler must be disabled. So that kind of leads us into who service dogs can help. Service dogs can help anyone who is disabled, so long as there's something that the dog can be trained to do to help their disability. So let's break down what a disability is. A disability is defined by a condition that severely impacts one or more major functions of life. So that can be mobility, that can be going grocery shopping, that can be leaving your house at all. It can be a great many things, and that would be a discussion to have with your doctor or care team. Things that a service dog can help with depend on the disability. So a seeing eye dog, or a guide dog as they're more commonly known, would help someone who is blind or visually impaired with navigating curbs or shopping or literally going anywhere. They are acting as that person's eyes. Seizure alert dogs or other medical alert dogs would inform their handler of a medical episode before the episode starts. I generally look at it as a medical alert or a psychiatric alert dog lets the handler know of a situation before the handler is aware of the situation. On the flip side, there is medical response or psychiatric response, where the dog is helping with symptoms that the handler might already be aware of. So the difference would be a seizure alert dog, for example, would be able to tell the handler, hey, you're about to have a seizure, whereas a seizure response dog wouldn't be mentioning beforehand that the seizure is about to occur, but would be helping during and after the seizure. A seizure alert dog is often trained to do seizure response, but seizure alert is not something that's generally trained. It's something the dog does naturally, because we don't necessarily know yet how exactly these dogs are figuring it out. But the service dog's tasks are dependent on what their handler needs. So for me and for my service dog, her tasks are going to look very different from someone with different disabilities than what I have. Another flip of the coin is that even if I had the same disabilities as another handler, the tasks that our dogs are trained to do could be very different still. Because even if we have the same conditions, the same disabilities, we might be impacted by these disabilities in different ways. So I sometimes need Delilah to open doors for me or pick things up off the ground, whereas someone else with the same conditions might not need that. And that's okay. That doesn't make any service dog any less valuable to their person, because that's the whole point. A service dog is trained to help their specific handler with their specific symptoms of their disability. So some other things to consider with service dogs is how you get one. That's probably a large portion of what the world wonders. So there are different organizations. You've probably heard of some of the big ones like CCI or other, like Guiding Eyes for the Blind, I believe is the name of it. But those are big programs and organizations where either you end up on a wait list, and you can pay several $1,000s, and they will train your dog, pair you with a trained dog, and you're good to go. Another option that's available for handlers in the US is you can owner train your dog. And that is something that a lot of handlers do just because the wait lists are so long, the costs are so high, and, you know, being disabled is expensive. We don't always have $10,000 to drop on a dog at one time. And so, yeah, a lot of people choose to owner train, and that's something I am helping handlers with, is I want to help handlers owner train their own dogs to make service dogs be a more affordable option for everybody who needs them. Another fun fact about service animals is that here in the US, there are service dogs, but another protected option under federal law is miniature horses. They are a great option for people who are more comfortable with horses or need a working animal with a longer lifespan or things like that. In some counties or states, they might protect other animals, like I believe Ohio protects service cats. They would fall to the same standards as service dogs, must be well behaved in public, must be task trained to mitigate the disability, things like that, but they would not be protected in other states. So if you live in Ohio, you have a service cat, you are protected to have your service cat in public there, but you wouldn't be protected to have your service cat in Indiana, for example. Now, this is me, disclaimer, I don't necessarily remember if service cats are a thing in Ohio. Pretty sure, but don't quote me. Things like that. But yeah, that is my overview on service dogs. I keep looking off to the side because my service dog is sitting here. This is Delilah, and she is being very supportive. Yes, that is the basics of service dogs. Stay tuned for more of my service dog videos coming up soon. Thanks.